Hello, it's Dr. Michael Arnhem here again. This time I want to talk to you about the book of Micah. Now, the book of Micah isn't nearly as well known as some of the other prophetic works. Micah is considered to be one of the minor prophets, and of course Isaiah is one of the major prophets. And there is a remarkable overlap between them in a couple of verses. Micah chapter 4 and Isaiah chapter 2. Which came from which? Who copied whom? Or maybe they were not copied from each other, but they were both written with the same divine inspiration. That is a view that some people would take. My own view is that the closeness of the two passages, practically word for word the same, indicates that one was copied from the other. Isaiah, being the senior prophet, I would imagine wrote his passage first, and it was then copied by Micah. But Micah's goes on longer, and I believe is actually more important. And so maybe that came first. It's impossible to tell. But it is very important to study these few verses. Micah, well, it's the same in Isaiah, the beginning part, Isaiah 2:2 or Micah 4:4, V'haya v'acharit hayamim. But at the end of days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established at the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and peoples, amim, nations, shall flow unto it. V'naharu alav amim. And many nations shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And those last few words have entered the prayer book. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'dvar Adonai miYerushalayim. For out of Zion, ki mitzion, shall go forth the law, Torah, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. What is this all about? Well, the next verse is perhaps even more important. And he shall judge between many peoples, and shall decide concerning mighty nations afar off. And here comes the really well-known passage, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. It is a wonderful vision of peace, world peace. Now, is this the coming of the Messiah? Well, there's no mention of anything like that. Of course, Christianity tends to view all this in terms of Jesus, when it says he shall judge between many peoples, they interpret that as meaning Jesus as part of the Trinity. But of course, there's no indication of that at all. He shall judge between many peoples. That is simply God. And of course, in Judaism, there is only one God. He shall judge between many peoples. So, does this mean that everybody will convert to Judaism and therefore everything will be peaceful? No, I don't believe it does mean that. It indicates that people respect the Jewish God and come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord and to the house of the God of Jacob. I think this must be a reference to the temple. We see it at the beginning as well. The mountain of the Lord's house shall be established at the top of the mountain. The mountain of the Lord's house shall be established at the top of the mountain. Strange way of putting it. We'd think it would be the house that will be established instead of saying the mountain that will be established. I think it's just a poetic way round that the temple in Jerusalem will attract people from all over the world. They will respect the God of Israel. But in the book of Micah, unlike Isaiah, we have an extra verse, which I think is really, really significant. After the bit about they shall learn war no more, we read, but they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of the Lord of hosts hath spoken. For let all the peoples walk each one in the name of its God, but we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. This is a remarkable picture of the world of communal religions. Judaism is a communal religion, and this picture is one of the world of communal religions. Each nation will still have its own God. There's no mention here or suggestion of conversion to Judaism, nothing like that. Let all peoples walk each one in the name of its God, but we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. Actually, the word but there is not quite right. In the Hebrew, it's not but, it's and. Va'anachnu nelech b'shem Adonai Eloheinu le'olam va'ed. So what it really says is, for let all the peoples walk each in the name of its God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. There's no actual opposition. There's no contradiction there. Each nation will have its own God. And that will continue. And that is part of this picture of peace. It's actually, if you like, the practical side to the rather broad concepts about peace and the swords and plowshares and all that sort of thing. What it really means on the ground, is that everyone will be independent. Each one will sit under his vine, under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. And every nation will worship its own God. Let all the peoples walk each one in the name of its God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever. Not enough attention has ever been paid to this passage, I believe. More next time.